If you're thinking about selling your home, one of the biggest things you need to understand is this: buyers judge fast. They form an opinion of your home in the first 5 to 7 seconds. And in a market where buyers already feel stretched with prices, rates, and affordability, the last thing you want is to give them more reasons to hesitate. A lot of sellers focus on the big stuff: paint, flooring, staging, and that's all important, but it's the small overlooked details that quietly cheapen your home and pull down the perceived value. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. These aren't expensive fixes. In fact, most of them cost next to nothing, but correcting them can completely change the first impressions that buyers get when they step through the front door. So let's dive into the 10 design mistakes that make your home look cheap when selling, along with what to do instead. The first one's probably going to ruffle a lot of feathers, and it's the exposed TV cables that are hanging down your wall. If you have your TV mounted on the wall and the cables are just dangling there, buyers see it immediately. And they don't think, oh, they just didn't bother hiding the cords. What they think is, this feels unfinished, this feels messy, this feels like a shortcut. And the reality is, that's the psychology behind it. Exposed cable make the entire living area feel less put together. And when buyers see one unfinished detail, they start subconsciously looking for more. The good news is, this is an easy fix. Cord hiding channels cost around $15 to $20. If you want to go a step further, run the wires behind the wall, which is what I actually recommend. But with that, even the basic cover instantly cleans up the space and makes the setup look more intentional. You don't need a fancy media unit or a full renovation, you just need clean lines. Order and simplicity give buyers confidence that the rest of the home is well cared for. Now, the second one is something that we've almost all been guilty with at some point, and that's going matchy-matchy with your decor. You find a color you really like, and suddenly everything in the house becomes that color. The pillows, the candles, the rugs, the throws, all the same shade. But here's the problem: too much matching doesn't feel coordinated. It feels flat. It feels staged in a bad way, and it feels cheap because everything blends together with no depth, no variation, and no warmth. Buyers don't need a design degree to sense this. They walk in and feel like something is off. The more expensive elevated look comes from layering, mixing tones, textures, and complementary colors. You can still have a color you love, just don't take it over the entire space. Use different shades of it. Pair it with neutrals, add contrast where needed. Think of it this way: you're creating a story, not a theme. And when buyers feel that balance, the home feels much more high-end. Now, the third thing that makes your home feel cheap is beds without a headboard, or even worse, no bed frame at all. The bedroom is a big deal. It's where buyers imagine winding down at the end of a long day, and nothing kills that impression faster than a mattress on the floor or a bed shoved against the wall with no headboard. This is something that instantly communicates temporary living or student apartment. Not exactly the message you want. A headboard gives the room structure. It adds visual weight, which makes the space feel grounded, complete, and comfortable. And you don't need a custom designer headboard. You don't need an expensive frame. Even a basic upholstered headboard off Amazon completely changes the feel of the room. You want buyers to walk in and feel like the room is move-in ready, not like someone is still in the middle of settling in. A simple bed frame is one of the highest return on investment visual upgrades you can make. Now, before we dive into number 4, I want to take a minute here and ask a favor. If you find any value in my videos at all, make sure you hit that thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to the channel to stay updated on everything about how to sell your home for top dollar. Now, in number 4, I'm talking to a lot of men out there, and I'm talking about the cheap bedding and flat, lifeless pillows that you have on your bed. Your bedding sets the tone for the entire bedroom. When buyers walk in and the comforter looks thin and wrinkled, or the pillows look like they've been stepped on, it cheapens the entire home. Remember, people buy emotionally and they justify logically. They imagine themselves living in the space, and a bed that looks flat or tired sends the wrong message. Here's what instantly elevates it: size up your duvet. A bigger duvet looks more luxurious. So if you have a queen size bed, buy a king size duvet. And on top of that, add 1 or 2 simple layers. A throw blanket or a textured layer adds depth. Replace old pillows with fuller inserts. It visually lifts the entire bed. You don't have to buy high-end linens. You're not trying to recreate a luxury hotel. You're just trying to create volume, texture, and comfort. And when the bed looks inviting, the entire room looks more expensive. Now, the fifth thing that makes your home look cheap are those mismatched dishes on open shelving or your see-through cabinets. If you have open shelves or glass cabinet doors, buyers are seeing inside your kitchen whether you want them to or not. And mismatched dishes, different colors, patterns, random rugs make the kitchen feel chaotic and disorganized. In real estate, kitchens carry a ton of emotional weight. People want them to feel clean, orderly, and functional. The solution is simple. Pick one cohesive set. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. Even an inexpensive white set looks clean, modern, and intentional. Buyers should see alignment and consistency. When the dishes look coordinated, the entire kitchen feels more expensive without you spending more than a dinner out. Now, number 6 is probably going to ruffle some feathers and probably piss some people off. If it did, let me know in the comments. I'm talking about the overuse of boilerplated decor from either TJ Maxx, Hobby Lobby, you pick the store. You know the signs I'm talking about, literally. Home sweet home, gather, live, laugh, love, family is everything. One or two is fine, but when every shelf and wall has a scripted piece of decor, buyers start to feel like the home was styled in one quick shopping trip, not curated over time. It cheapens the home because it feels generic, not personal. It feels like the house could belong to anyone, which means it doesn't feel special. Instead, remove most of these pieces and let the space breathe. If you want decor, use things with texture, shape, or visual interest. A plant, a vase, a framed photo, a piece of art. These feel more intentional and elevate the room without trying too hard. Now, number 7, a lot of people are guilty of, and that is too much clutter. I walk into a lot of properties when I'm helping buyers buy properties, even on listing appointments. And the number one thing I see is stuff everywhere. It's one of the very few things that you can do that costs you absolutely nothing that can boost your home's value. And yes, I'm talking about the things on countertops, shelves, nightstands, everywhere. Clutter is a deal killer, not because buyers don't understand real life, but because clutter shrinks a space. It makes every room feel smaller, tighter, darker, and more cramped. The reality is your home might not be small at all, but if every horizontal surface is full, that's how it will feel. The goal when selling isn't to eliminate personality, it's to eliminate visual noise. Buyers need to see the space, not your belongings. When you think you've removed enough, remove a little more. Clean surfaces photograph better, they show better, and allow buyers to focus on the home itself. And the best part, as I mentioned earlier, this improvement costs nothing. Now, number 8 is probably something you've already debated if you're considering selling, and it's that cheap or mismatched flooring you have. Flooring is one of the first things that buyers look at, even if they don't realize they're doing it, and it speaks volumes about the quality of the home. When they see multiple types of cheap flooring, 3 different wood tones, peeling edges, transitions everywhere, the home feels pieced together. It feels inconsistent and it feels cheap. You don't have to replace all the flooring, but consistency matters. Even a budget-friendly vinyl plank can look modern and expensive when it runs continuously throughout the home. Buyers love cohesion. It makes the entire property feel upgraded, even when it didn't cost much to create that effect. This one surprises people, but strong artificial scents are a red flag for buyers. When someone walks into a home and gets hit with a wave of fragrance, their first thought is not, wow, this is pleasant. Their first thought is, what are they trying to hide? Strong scents make buyers suspicious about pets, spills, mildew, smoke, mold, anything. If you want a clean smelling home, the best option is fresh air. Open windows before showings. Deep clean where needed. If you want a scent, keep it very light. A single candle or subtle diffuser. Your home should smell clean, not covered up. Now finally, let's talk about those cheap blinds. I'm talking about the vertical blinds, the bent mini blinds, the damaged slats. If you want buyers to instantly feel like your home is dated, leave the vertical blinds up. If you want them to feel like the home hasn't been updated in years, then keep the bent mini blinds too. Window coverings have a massive impact on the perceived age and quality of a home. They frame every window and buyers see them in every room, so they matter more than people think. Luckily, the fix is simple. Faux wood blinds, clean roller shades, light neutral curtains, nothing expensive, just clean, modern, and consistent. Buyers won't consciously think, wow, these blinds are nice, because good design rarely calls attention to itself. But they will feel like the home is more modern, more updated, and more valuable. Now, what I always like to say in videos like this is before you go out and do some of these things, make sure you're talking to a professional in your market, somebody that understands what buyers are looking for in homes and can guide you through that process. Now, if you're watching this, you don't have a realtor, you're not sure where to start, my team and I would love to help. I've helped hundreds of people here on YouTube over the last couple of years, and we'd love to help you too. You can actually get in touch directly with my team using that link in the description. Now, understand these 10 details that I just went over might seem small, but in real estate, small things create big impressions, and impressions shape value. You don't need to remodel your home to make it more expensive. You just need to remove the distractions that cheapen it. If you're preparing to sell your home and want to present it in the best possible light, start with these simple changes. They're inexpensive, quick, and genuinely impactful. Now, one more thing, let me know in the comments which ones you're guilty of. We've all been there, and if you want more seller tips like this, make sure you check out the next video.